Now, when talking about comparative advantages, we know that the infrastructure in Senegal is a huge asset, a huge comparative advantage if you compare this with neighboring countries, for example. I think that Senegal has a major advantage. Can you tell us a little bit more about your digital infrastructure? Are you also ahead of your neighbors in this field? Yes, if we consider infrastructures, of course we've invested a lot in Senegal's infrastructure, but we consider that there are so many things that you do. And if we consider our Senegal Vision 2050, we have a very ambitious investment program focusing on infrastructure that grants access to major production sites, whether land access, or sea access, or rail access. So we have to develop our roads, our ports, and we are in the process of building 2 additional ports in addition to the one in Dakar. And we are building a deep water port in the south of Senegal, especially to strengthen our relationship with our neighboring countries, with Sierra Leone, for example. So it is important to manage some of our resources jointly. You know that we've discovered gas in Senegal. We have a lot of iron in Senegal, and we need to pool our efforts, especially in the way that we actually use and transform these raw materials. And we have to work together. We have to create true corridors to be able to cross the borders and serve all of West Africa. We also have to focus on our airports. So we have a program to strengthen our regional airports, and we want to go even further. We want to develop land, air transportation, and we have to go beyond Senegal because we need to develop a regional approach in the field of transportation. So Senegal can act as a hub, and it is exactly the same for our digital infrastructure. Now, Senegal is ahead of its neighboring countries. For example, we have a national company, the National Telecom Company. It's present in many countries. Sierra Leone, for example, it's also present in Mali, in Guinea. So we are ahead of these countries, but we are lagging behind other developed countries, and we have to catch up. So time is flying. Unfortunately, I have one last question. Prime Minister, in light of the current geopolitical context marked by intensifying conflicts, including in Africa, climate change, now breaches of WTO rules and multilateralism, as well as global governance system shaped by a post-World War II order, how do you view Africa's development process, which is lagging behind structurally despite the continent's wealth and its comparative advantages in terms of natural resources and demographics? Can you tell us a little bit more about the situation in Africa as a whole? We like talking about Africa as a whole because we truly believe in Africa. So we have to overcome borders. But Africa is characterized by different situations. It's not one country. We have 53 countries with their own specificities. So we cannot actually consider that we can speak with one single voice in Africa. This is something that we have to take into account. There are local, there are regional specificities. Now, West Africa is a sub-region with ECOWAS, and unfortunately, some countries have left ECOWAS, but we know that we cover the surface of 6.5 million square kilometers, and we have access to a lot of natural resources. It's also the case for Southern Africa, for Northern Africa, for East Africa. And you know that there's this theory of concentric circles that helps us create these models based on the subregions and then bringing together these subregions together. I think that this is very important, to start at regional level and then bringing together these different regional policies. Now, I've been talking about this for many years now. You know that many powers have risen, have fallen. We know that this can give rise to a lot of economic wars as we can see today with tariffs. And we know that this is a real concern. Now, Africa has to be able to position itself to capitalize on this situation. As the Chinese premier pointed out earlier, the world has to envisage other growth avenues. You know that we have to consider intangible growth, for example, using new forms of technology, the digital sector, but we also have to focus on the tangible economy with agriculture, the mining industry, and so on. We know that the digital economy today plays a pivotal role, and we know that this has given way to fierce competition between major powers. And then, from a geographical point of view, we really have to promote Africa, because this is the only continent in the world where everything needs to be built. We know that there are huge opportunities in Africa. From an industrial point of view, Africa will account for 25% of the population by 2050. This is a huge market, and I think that beyond the challenges that we are faced with, especially in terms of political stability, security, it is extremely important for the world to understand that you need to focus on Africa today. We know that there are some countries that are more ready than others. It is the case for Senegal, because we can offer many guarantees to investors, but we're not the only country. This is the message that we want to convey. And a lot of work has to be done by we as Africans, and we have to provide all the necessary guarantees. We have to convince investors to come and invest in Africa in order to accelerate our development cycle. So we have to be able to give and take at the same time. And we are fully aware of this in Senegal. This is the message that we would like to convey to all our brothers and sisters in Africa. We have to start working ourselves to offer a framework that will be conducive to more investments. I think that all the conditions are met today to turn Senegal into an African hub. So we invite all the investors taking part in this forum to come and invest in Senegal. And we're going to organize a forum on the 7th and 8th of October to attract investors. And we will showcase all the opportunities made available to them in Senegal. Prime Minister, thank you so much for this positive outlook on Africa. You know that in a past life I was an investor myself, and I can guarantee that our investments in Africa have always been extremely profitable and efficient. So thank you so much for your presentation. I'm sure that you will be able to attract many investors. Thank you.
Merci pour la qualité des questions.